And sorry, let me also make somebody who wants to be the backup host. Okay, Ed, you're the backup host.
All right. Yeah, I was going to ask about that. So if Emily's not here, who should run the meeting?
Well, yeah, I'm not going to run it, but I really wanted to just kick off the recording.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I understand you need to pick a backup host. That's fine.
Yeah. All right, take it away. Whoever wants to.
Yeah. So
own it.
who wants to run the meeting this week?
I can just update on the last week that we talked about.
Great. Thank you.
I think we revisited the Maven gave module names that we want to have so that we can start the initial filling up of the repo that got created in LangChain4j.
Right.
And we decided that we will revisit the parent gave before doing the release so that everybody is on the same page. I know that Buhake updated his branch in SmallRye LLM to uptake all the changes. The expectation was for people to review it or maybe for him to create a first PR on that. So I'm not sure, Buhake, you want to cover that part as to how that is going?
Yeah, sorry, my voice is going. Yeah, so I did the changes as from what we discussed last week. But then, yeah, the only thing why it's still on pause is because there was this whole discussion of including MicroProfile as part of the Jakarta spec. But then, so the problem was to have a final name for the GAV, because once according to Clement, once they have a name, once LangChain4j provide the GAV name, it's very hard to change. So that's why it's on pause. But everything else has been done until they finalize the parent GAV for the project. Then it's just on pause. But everything is done so far. So if you guys want to play around with it and test, yeah, that will be fine. I removed Lombok because Lombok breaks on JDK 24. So I completely removed it, and I've updated it to the latest version of LangChain4j, which is beta 3. So yeah, so it's up to date. It's just that it's not something that we're ready to give to LangChain4j yet because we haven't finalized the naming of the parent form yet.
So I'm looking at the PRs. Is this PR 120? Or is this, I'd like to take a look at it, Buhake. Where can I find it?
There's no PR yet. We can't do a PR because we haven't given the name of the parent JV, but there is a branch for it.
A branch in the LangChain4j one or the SmallRye?
On the SmallRye.
Okay.
So that if we need to move it to LangChain4j, we have a branch that we can just directly move to.
Oh, this is the LangChain4j MicroProfile Jakarta branch.
Yeah.
All right, got it. I'm looking at it now. Okay. And regarding the name, this is something I haven't reviewed the recordings, but I imagine that with the discussion of host MicroProfile at Jakarta, the name will be influenced by the outcome of that discussion, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I think we should let that discussion play out and not cast anything in stone until after that's done.
I think one of the concerns raised, Ed, was that the discussion may not get over in time or hold this project hostage until how long it takes, right?
I know.
Well, can work continue in the current location before?
Yes.
So it's not necessarily held up per se. I mean, you can't do a more formal release, but you can still continue to evolve.
That's true. We can certainly keep iterating in the SmallRye side.
Yeah.
Can we iterate in LangChain4j as well if we are not making a release? If we are not pushing anything to Maven Central, then that should be fine, right?
Seems okay to me. I don't know what their governance rules are though.
As long as we are on small rise, we can push the sensor.
Say again,
the group
Manuel?
ID. Sorry. As long as we are using small rise group ID, we can push the sensor. But if we are on, if we change the group ID, we can't. So I think that what we can do is, since there is can upgrade at least function for J in the small rise LLM project, we can do release with the current state, and even with removing the long box stuff, and that we can provide in small rise. We can release with that, be up to date.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean that's the easy part. But we can. I think that's what we should do. That the rebasing then would just be about the commit with the count changes, just the group ID or the full count that we would change.
So can someone summarize that in the agenda?
Essentially what he's saying, we can still push our releases if we work on small run.
Okay.
But not on the LangChain Jakarta one.
Right.
Until they finalize the naming. But then we can still progress on the small rival releases.
All right. Well, and that's fine. From my perspective, it seems okay. I mean, whether it's one place or the other, we wanted to get the foothold on the LangChain for J side, and we might even need to rename the LangChain for J repo, right? Depending on the outcome of the host MicroProfile Jakarta EE discussion.
Yeah.
We probably will have to rename it.
Also the fact that only group ID for the sensor synchronization. So to be able to deploy on sensor, we need the group ID to be stable. Yeah. Even it doesn't match the GitHub repo.
Right.
Yeah, it affects the GitHub repo, the Maven coordinates, and also the namespace, the package name we are using. That should be in sync.
Yeah.
That's essentially it. Okay. I had another idea.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should look into creating MCP servers. So currently, I've played around with MCP. Currently, if you want to create a HTTP SSE server on your side, you have to put it like into a Docker, and then configure Cloud to access it, because it's essentially all it does is executes a command on your machine.
Mm-hmm.
But then ideally, we want developers to write some few features, MCP features, deploy it on the app server, and then have it discoverable through the LLM of choice, and then have it used. So an idea similar to what Focus is doing, and have it also our own version of annotating certain methods and have it discoverable by MCP, using the MCP protocol, basically.
Well, I know Manuel has done a lot of work on MCP with our project here. What do you think, Manuel?
Well, there is some discussion because I took a big inspiration from what was done on Quarkus in terms of defining MCP tools through annotation through the code, which is, if you look, for example, at the new, because Anthropic has a Java MCP project, which is basically about providing an MCP server SDK with Spring Boot. It's quite different. The approach is different in that the approach I have is, I would say, small I compatible. We need to align. There's some discussion with the Quarkus team about aligning all this code, because I mean it's just annotation. It's quite duplication. So that part, I think we should have it somewhere, maybe in small I, maybe in Longchain for J. I don't know. So that's for the, I would say, the API to describe a MCP tool. That we can share. And as for the implementation, I mean it's very server specific, and so I don't know how much we can share across that. Or I mean, well, for example, for Wi-Fi, I just provide MCP tooling through SSE, which initially seems to be an issue because all the desktop, etc., was using a STDIO connection. But no, I see that all the, I would say, the wide coding plugins like Klein, etc., they support now SSE MCP, so we can. So it's not that important, and I don't know how much shareable it is with different I would say containers or servers. That's I'm not proficient enough in those servers to know. I guess most of it, at least all the deserialization from JSON RPC and serialization to JSON RPC, or maybe even providing the JSON schema for that part, but is using Jackson and stuff over Jackson, so that might be, I would say, reusable. But all the stuff to plug into the HTTP layer, that I'm not sure. Maybe now can also try to check if we want to do it through providing JAX-RS SSE endpoints instead. Because I know that they have changed the protocol and the connection and the initialization part of it, so that you don't have to have two endpoints anymore. But I haven't looked at that part specifically. I have just worked to provide the token, the bureau token authentication in my case. Yeah. It's a long talk. I don't know what we can do, but we can learn from that. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. What Quarkus did, which I reused, was the computer. So it's different, but I think that what we can do is maybe reuse all the declarative part. So this is not defined also in the SDK. That's something that can be defined
can even maybe send the PR to the. I would have to discuss that with. Would have to discuss that with Clément, Max, and maybe also with in the Quarkus team. I think it was Liam. I don't remember who was working on that. So Martin Kuba. What do you think about it? I know that on the thread on the GitHub thread about the fact that it is given to singles. They mentioned that, so maybe we could ask and push for that to be on SDK. My point of view. I have no much more.
I'm sorry, I'm muted. What I was asking was, Manuel, is this time a bad time for you, or is it just today that you're having to call in on the phone?
No, it's all the time.
All the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's I can do later, but Emily can't, so.
Well, I appreciate you calling in on the phone today. I think I'm going to suggest that we pick a different time that works for you. I know times are tight because we have very limited options, but I think we need to make sure that all of our stakeholders can be represented in a way that their contributions can be understood and, contributed. So maybe we should pick a different time.
Yeah, Emily said we'll have to revisit it because Tuesday is not feasible for most of us.
Okay. Well, we'll figure something out then. All right. I think Emily did conduct a poll, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we could ask for more options. I don't know if some more options that we can provide.
Okay.
But all the time is also, yeah. I don't know what is the span of the time we have to cover.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else. Arya, I'm sorry, Aryav, do you have anything else?
No, I will sync up with you, Buhik, offline about the issue that you are running into Helidon fault tolerance and testing with your PR. But that is something that we can take it on the Slack.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll take it to the list to pick a better time that everyone can participate.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.